5:34 on Thursday, February 21st. We will reconvene the 2018-2019 budget hearings of the Milford Board of Finance. We had a few items that were continued from the last meeting on February 12th until tonight's meeting. So I appreciate your patience. We're going to need to take those items first. And we'll have a motion to reorder the agenda, to take the items rescheduled from 12/12/18.
You're going to make the motion.
Change Mr. Fitzpatrick, is there a second?
Yeah.
Seconded by Mr. Moulton. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Borough of Woodmont. Page 88. We know you had a long way to travel, so we'll back to the borough. So
this is the updated, maybe like that's the updated Malico contract, which unfortunately I'm hoping is not. It could be the last time he wants to renew it.
You what?
he's saying it might be
It
the
might be the
last
last time Jimmy Malico wants to renew it, which is really unfortunate for.
But they want to flout him?
It's a hard look.
Yeah, it is.
This is a summary of everything that we get for basically $57,000 for 12 months, which includes 200 hours of snow paving, snow plowing, sanding, street cleaning, storm cleanup, basic storm cleanup, things of that nature. I just signed, I say just in the fall, we had a 6% increase in the in that contract, which is going to run through 2019. And we're asking for a 1.3% increase. I actually started this process negotiating with the mayor and the finance director prior to the contract. And we're already over this 200 hours for this year. So we're going to have another deficit in this year's budget. So I'm hoping that we can get through this year, and I think we're going to need to have a harder conversation the following year, next year. We're still paying way below what the city is paying. I think the city is paying somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 and change, 205 an hour for snow plowing. Beyond our 200 hours, we're paying somewhere in the neighborhood of about 175. So it's a big savings to the borough, and obviously it's a big savings to the city because of that. Be happy to answer any questions. I also gave you a list of all the different contractors that we use for various projects.
Thank you.
And here's our VR. Here's our AR one. Copies for everybody. I actually ran out of paper. I was letting you copies for. Underneath, maybe it's underneath that. Is that right? Contractors.
Maybe it is.
There it is.
Yeah, here it is. I got it.
And I've been on the road on my day job 10 days, and it's just like that. So. Any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. Do any members of the Board of Finance have any questions?
I do.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
What is your total income from the borough residents?
Borough residents is about 130 135,000. You're talking about for the borough budget or for the city budget?
No, the amount of money you're getting from the people for you.
Okay, we have
The
two
assessment,
budgets.
okay.
We have
that-
two
that I don't
budgets.
know,
Okay.
okay.
We pay roughly $5.2 million to the city in our regular city tax.
Who does? The
The
residents?
Borough of Woodmont pays the city about $5.2 million in property taxes. And according to the state statute since 1903, the city, then the mayor and the warden is the way it's written in the statute, are to negotiate on what the budget would be for the borough to cover our public works. Plus, we also do all the streetlights, the UI bill, storm drains. The city stopped taking care of the Category G beach just prior to, a couple of years prior to Irene, and the borough has been picking that up, the cost. We're very thankful that the mayor, Mayor Blake, has recently, in the last few years, begun to at least provide the elevation surveys twice a year, which are required by Army Corps of Engineers to maintain the Category G beach. It's a public beach, it's not a borough beach, it's a City of Milford and Army Corps of Engineers agreement that was signed in 1993, which runs 50 years. The previous administration decided to walk away from it. The borough, being a third-party beneficiary, picked up the slack, and we have been maintaining it out of our separate borough budget, which we have a separate .85 mill rate that we charge the borough residents.
What do they pay? What's their other mill rate?
The other mill rate's the same as...
No. Your .85 is for the,
The .85 is for the borough residents, which pays for my salary of $1 a year.
right,
Our bookkeeper, our, all of our expenses that go along with that. We have a couple
Right.
of stipend salaries for.
what is the total income you're getting under the .85 mil? What's the total?
$133,000. That's the borough money, which also pays for the police car.
So you're getting 230
$235.
from us.
We're asking for $235.
I know, but you get 133,000,
Yeah.
just from the residents.
We're getting $133,000 from the residents, which pays for borough budgeted items. That has nothing to do with the Milford Board of Finance.
Right. I'm just, what's your income? That's what I'm looking at. If you're asking for income for us, we'd like to know, where are you getting for income from other people?
That's
That's
the
it,
income that we have.
133,000.
And then we negotiate with you and the mayor and the Board of Aldermen to cover all of the street, snow plowing.
Right, now what are
Street.
those expenses? How much do those expenses come up to? We don't have that figure.
I gave you the borough contract, and our
That's
landscape.
that's for the 233, but what is your total expenses?
It's over $230,000 a year. We spent $110,000 on sand on the beaches.
That's not in here,
That is not in there now.
okay. Okay, I'm all set.
Anybody further? Thank you, Mr. Master.
Thank you.
The borough's a bargain.
You got it.
Ask,
Beautiful place.
ask the gentleman standing in the doorway there.
Thank you.
Well, is he paying?
No, he knows how much we pay, and he knows that it's a bargain, because we do it. I don't have to pay workman's comp, I don't have to pay retirement, I don't have any of those other expenses that you deal with. And I work and do it for free. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Take care.
Next item, 4420, Public Works. Mr. Bailey.
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome.
Our budget is pretty much back. We removed one position in the solid waste division. We reduced one position in the garage, and took the savings from that and bumped up 2 positions for working leader positions in Parks and Highway. We thought we needed more supervision in that department. And I don't know, any other questions you have?
Okay, Public Works, 442063. Do any members have any questions for Mr. Staley on Public Works? Thank you. Public Works is flat. Highway Parks is 4421, page 65.
Chris, just the idea of the asphalt, you know, we do that bonding for all the extra roads and
Yes.
everything. That doesn't include, this is what, like patchwork? and
This is
stuff
for
like that?
patchwork and minor repair work. The bonded money is for major repair work.
Right, that's interesting.
Same thing with the concrete and for sidewalks and stuff.
Mhm.
We've bonded over the last few years for a lot of it, for the big projects, but this is tree lifts, things of that nature, repairs that we get done.
Under, just a general idea, what's contractual costs? What is the 65 grand about? What does that roughly include?
Is that the increase, the annual increase, Peter?
No, I think he's referring to property upkeep.
Flat under your property
Property
upkeep.
upkeep account 447.
65, Chris.
Page 65.
That's things like if we need to go to Fussin and O'Neill for the MS4 program, or other contractual costs we have, like, since this is for highways, things like we sometimes do a street sweeper program where we bring in vendors or contractors to do some of the street sweeping, some of it we do in-house, but we only have 1 to 2 working street sweepers at any given time. And now the state requires us to sweep all 1,200 of our local streets, so we've had to hire out for some of that. There's a whole bunch of times that we bring in contractors for highway upkeep, even things like if we need a fence breaks down or gets knocked down, outside contractors for that.
We also do, we use outside contractors for tree removal at times when we have a high need.
Going back to Public Works Office, the Assistant Director, is he getting a $10,000 raise?
I believe it was it follows the MSA contract with the step and the raise, yes.
Okay. He doesn't get that every year, does he?
No.
All right.
Okay, if there's nothing further on Public Works or Highway Parks, we can always go back as well. 4423, Building Maintenance, page 69.
Just hold on for a second.
Sure.
The same question on that assistant director. 16, he was 86. 17, he's 95. So they went up 9,000 between 16 and 17, and now he's going 10,000.
Just as clarification, there are, in Public Works and across the city, we had a hiring freeze from January of 2017 to roughly mid-November of 2017. About a 10, 11-month hiring freeze. During that period, we were not backfilling positions that went vacant because of what was happening at the state. We've since lifted that hiring freeze, but because our HR department is a little bit backlogged at this time, we have not been able to fill all of the open positions. The Assistant Public Works Director position is still a position that remains open. So by the time that the budget was printed, that position was still filled by the person, so that the same step increase is enumerated in this budget, but at this point in time, that position is open.
And I think the other thing, I think it was a 2-year period, because when it was originally put in, I don't know this for sure, I'd ask Peter, but it was a number. Then it was a step and a raise, and then a step and a raise. So it's actually 2 years to get to that 95. That was originally budgeted, is that correct? I think that's why it seems
Correct,
like a lot.
and of course, initially it starts out at the lower
Yes,
level step,
yeah,
and each step increase, you add in also the contractual wage increase, the 2.5%.
But nobody's in the position.
Correct, but if we
So-
hire someone,
So-
it has to be
So then we
budgeted.
went another step in a raise to get to 105.
Yeah.
See, we went to 90, my question was 95, 105. Joe's got the last year's budget, that's how he can go
I
from,
only have 95, where's the 105?
Is
For this year.
for this
Oh,
year.
okay, okay.
for
That's
this year.
that's the step, that's the 2.5%, and then going from step 2 to step 3.
So most likely we would hire that person at a step one.
And there would be savings.
Step one, what would be the rate at step one? 105?
It's equivalent to the superintendent of buildings. We set it the same grade except for that. Again, it's a non-represented position.
But how much? Step one. This is step four.
I think it's 84, let me just check.
We set it at the union equivalent of that position, though.
Huh?
We could find that out.
So we probably need-
Because it would be
It's, I'm
two
sorry,
to three.
it's 88,924 is the superintendent. The building matrix, that's what we said that.
I'm very confused. If we're gonna fill this position at a step one, right? Are we not? If we are,
Likely we would, if there was a
Okay.
super candidate that would only take a different position. You may want to talk about our wastewater position.
So here's
As an example, or as an
Yeah.
exemplar.
We hired a superintendent of wastewater, and truthfully, the budgeted position is undervalued. He came here for a month, and another town offered him a $25,000 raise to go.
Mhm.
I know this is hard to say with people, but qualified people, would like to make a decent living, and to get a qualified person to do that position, there's a lot of demands on that position. So I understand your concern, because it does look like it's a big jump from year to year to year.
Well, no, my concern is why not just list it at 88,000 until you fill the position?
If you're gonna fill it at 88,
8,000.
90 or whatever,
Right.
why not put that in the budget?
That's fine.
We could do that.
We could.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you're already
I mean, they're
three
not-
steps and
Right.
3 raises ahead of that.
Exactly.
My thinking was to leave it in, to Chris's point, but equally important, or what's likely to happen is it'll generate savings which we could use in the budget overall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Oh, yeah, okay, Peter.
So we
Oh, sorry,
we got a lot of
Chris.
savings in this budget.
We gotta find something.
Let me bring out my little cheat sheet right now.
No.
Let's find some more.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
That was
next
a
one.
Useful discussion. Anything further on public works or highways?
Cards.
Highway, hang on a second, let's look at highway.
At this point, have we all filled in positions?
No.
How many?
Presently, we have 26 positions that are vacant.
No.
Not all the departments, but truthfully, the mayor's authorized us to fill them. It's just, a lot of them were old job descriptions, and Tanya Barnes in Human Resources is updating job descriptions, and it just takes a long time. So we're working hard to get that done. We put out candidates for, right now, I think we have 4 custodians that are empty. We just put that out, we had 75 applicants.
No, I'm sorry, Chris. In the highway part.
Oh, I'm talking global.
Yeah, right. Mm.
Highway parks, I believe there's 4 positions open.
And we're gonna fill them.
Yes. Well, I would hope so, yes.
Okay, when you fill those positions that are empty, or vacant, what rate are they gonna, they're not gonna come in at an at 5X, 6X, or whatever position, are they?
They'll come in
Eight,
those positions will come in at the first step.
which is it 8 or, I don't know the exact steps and double group steps.
Peter?
What steps do they come
That's
in
when they
at?
do it?
Step one.
Step
Yes,
one,
minimum
minimum,
step,
minimum.
right? Yeah, that's what I figured.
Usually.
The lower the number, the lower the pay, right? Is that it?
Yes, the lower the step, the lower the pay, yes.
I thought it was a higher step, wasn't it?
Huh? Yeah, the lower the number is, the higher the pay. Because 4X is paying for an operator,
X is maximum. N is usually minimum, and then there's like numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4,
right.
depending on the
Okay.
ordinance or the contract.
So we're gonna rent them at a lower rate.
Yes.
Why don't we list them at a lower rate here? We're gonna come in at a lower rate.
Yeah, some of the positions I've been able to put to the lower rate, some I've left at the higher rate, yes.
Okay, if they come in at a lower rate, what happens to that money?
It goes to fund balance
Right away?
when we close the year, yes.
At the
And
end
you
of the year.
need that, because you are using, as you see, each year an appropriated fund balance of $5 million, $3.5 million. You have to generate a surplus of at least that amount to make up for that loss, that's
Yeah,
the
okay.
revenue. So, you know, if the budget breaks even, you're going to be behind.
So this is additional savings.
It's just a small, additional savings.
It probably amounts to an
Alright.
overall
Overall,
budget
small,
less
because
than $100,000.
wages
probably.
surplus is always less than yeah, it's not a large amount when you add up all the wage savings.
And probably, when you have a $9 million surplus this last year, again, our audit will be finalized by the 28th, which is next week. But it's approximately $9 million surplus, and I would say probably less than $100,000 is attributable to the fact that there's different steps for the various positions that we're budgeting.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I get some.
Okay, Building Maintenance Division, page 69, 4423.
Okay, my question on the custodians, Chris, is these are, none of these are for schools, right?
No, that's the Board of Ed.
Right.
Totally separate from that, the Board of Ed.
How many custodians do we work with, 15?
Yes. We have
How many?
a core during the day, and then the nights, we have a higher concentration of custodians. That's where we do a lot of distributing for getting into the office.
How many buildings are they involved in?
Well, some like Parsons, we have usually 4 custodians at night, but some of the other buildings that share, there's usually a custodian at the Egan Center, and then the other buildings we share, depending on, and then if there's a call out, a sick out, someone takes vacation time, they rotate around.
They take care of the gym here?
Yes.
They do
Yeah,
in this
Parsons,
building?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah, right,
Parsons, yeah.
but that's,
That's, you've got
you don't know,
right,
sometimes
three of
they
them.
split, education is this part of the building, and you ever hear about the custodian? When they go in to do the gym, the floors? Don't you dare go over the other half of the floor, because this half is his half.
No, we don't do that. Listen, the interesting thing, but one of the things they do is we have a lot of extra activities on weekends, basketball.
Yeah, right.
That's outside of this, that's paid by the camp or the league that's running it, and it pays to one of our custodians at time and a half.
They, okay, not out of here then? Okay,
Not out of
I gotcha,
here, no.
okay.
But we also do out of building maintenance, anything that's done at the auditorium, especially if it's for an organization, we pay for that out of this account.
Okay.
How many buildings do you have to have the staff spread over?
I'll get that to you, Scott, I should know that, to be honest. But West Shore, Egan, Parsons, you have Fanny Beach, Tri-Beach, West Shore, and Egan, where else?
Library.
Library, obviously, yeah, thank
Health
you.
department.
Senior center is a high use.
Police,
PD's 24,
Oh,
fire departments do their own maintenance.
yes.
But other than that, all their city buildings, and there's even buildings, like this weekend, we were in the pump station at Shadyside Lane. So there's a whole host of buildings that are quasi-active that building maintenance is involved with for a variety of reasons. And then you have you know, things like our parks, Eisenhower, behind the library, you know, all the beaches, those are all manned by custodial staff for this department.
Yeah, on the weekends, especially Walnut Beach, Gulf Beach, the ball fields that are taken care of. There's a lot of activity, especially in the summertime.
But
Fowler?
Oh, yeah.
the old Milford Academy building, do we take care of that?
We do.
The natatorium is the other one, that's a high use
So the
building.
natatorium, the Stern Hall,
Yeah,
not
Get
the
outta here.
school, the academy, but Stern Hall.
that won't be in next year's budget.
Get the hell out of here. Which reminds me, how much does Sacred Heart pay us?
Is Paul here?
Paul? How much does Sacred Heart pay us for the
Sacred Heart pays
sanitary?
us $25,000 a year.
Flat?
Yes.
That's it?
Right.
They bring their own little timers up there? Did you ever see their timers up
They
there?
bring some of their own equipment, yes.
Yeah. So they're only paying 25, that's it?
25,000, right.
Boy, they got a deal. Woo. Imagine if they had to build their own. Wow.
Anything further on building maintenance? Engineering, 4424, page 72. Are all the positions filled in engineering?
There's one clerk's position that's not, inspector's position that's not filled.
In engineering?
Yes.
Oh, chief inspector?
No, chief inspector's filled.
What's the other, we don't have another
It's,
inspector?
well, engineering technician.
Technician?
Yeah.
Now, refresh my recollection, is the engineering clerk, is he or she now handling sewer as well?
Yes, that was done, I believe, 2 years ago, Brian. They eliminated, remember, there was one position, but they had a bigger
They
site,
did it,
and we
okay.
adjusted it.
Right.
$7,500.
Okay, that was my recollection, thank you.
Boy, what a memory.
I don't know how many copies we have. No.
Well,
Okay, I'm
Anything
okay with
further on engineering?
Yep.
General garage, 74, 4429.
So in this division, we're taking the working meter garage out, bringing it down to a lesser paid position, to a parts position. We're taking some of that savings to put working meters in the parks and highway division.
Again, all filled or not filled?
Right now, there's 2 mechanics positions that are vacant.
Oh, what was the increase in software, Chris? 15,000?
We're doing a GIS component.
Was that the survey thing?
No, well, it's for making sure we know where everybody is.
Oh, yeah.
GPS?
GPS?
GPS,
Okay. Yep. Now, is it in every truck?
Believe it or not, we demoed a company, we liked it, we ran it for a year, it just didn't work as well as we thought. We're filling that unit out, and we're bringing in another vendor, we're looking at another vendor presently. We had a lot of false alarms, we had alarms showing that the trucks were active when they weren't, so it just didn't work as well as we, and we demoed it, it worked perfect, so. And then we had to take a lot of the trash trucks, because new trash trucks interfered with the computer system in it.
So it's not just GPS to track where a particular vehicle is at a given time for plowing. It's also for fleet maintenance. It gives alarms, you know, if there needs to be preventive maintenance done, if there's idling, it lets the supervisors know via text whether or not there's a particular group of vehicles that are idling for longer than, I think, 3 minutes, maybe it's 5 minutes. But the system that we were using for the last year, they were giving false positives. They were notifying supervisors that a truck was in the valley when it was in a garage in Milford, Connecticut. So there were too many perks in that system to keep it.
Thank you.
Does it tell them when they're at home, doing their paperwork at home?
In Bridgeport?
Yeah, did you hear about that?
No.
The detective got over 300,000 altogether in overtime. It was never at work.
I didn't read that. No, it wasn't
He
posted.
was doing all his paperwork at the union and stuff. All right.
So is somebody monitoring the system on a full-time, real-time basis?
There's a dash component, you can go on your computer and pull it up, yes.
So during times of snow, we do obviously have it on for the supervisors. We'll have it on to know where the different plow trucks are for the 22 different routes. But there is, at least the system that we had over the course of the last year, there was a whole bunch of notifications that were text messaged to supervisors' phones. The garage foreman, for example, a text message preventive maintenance type issues. For the public works director, text message if there was vehicles that were idling, so it gave the vehicle number if it was idling for too long, and other notifications as well.
Thank you.
So these will pop up on a phone, or they'll pop up on a...
Just like an alert.
One of the biggest issues that we utilized it for, though, is if there were concerns about plow truck, for example, that threw snow into a person's yard, and you have residents concerned that the vehicles are going too fast, we can go back in the system, and there may be the concern that it went 50 miles an hour down a dead-end street. You can go back and actually track the actual speed, the real-time speed of the vehicle. It went 15 miles an hour, not even though there was the perception that it went 50, it was only in reality going 15. Or if it was going 50 miles an hour down the street, we could follow up with that particular plow driver and ask he or she to slow down.
And it actually, the mayor brings it up because it happened, we had a resident complain that they thought the plow driver was driving excessively, and they proved that he wasn't, so.
Any contractors, are they gonna have the same thing?
We didn't put, you can get mobile GPS, but we didn't, we probably should have. But we wanted to run it the first year, the plug-and-play type of GPS.
How about maintenance equipment, is that part of this thing? 25,000? What is maintenance equipment that went from 0 to 25,000? Oh, from 10,000 to 25.
74.
Page 74, it's 4978, 000, 400.
Maintenance equipment. Department request. A lot of it has maintenance equipment. It's some of the lists that we have. The tire machine, I believe, that we did.
Well, we've been increasing that line item, I think, over the last couple of years. There's been a lot of transfers.
That's a different line item. This is for an actual capital purchase.
It is, okay.
And Peter has it, but I believe it's for a particular piece of equipment. Under the capital
Oh, right.
outlays,
It's capital outlay.
it's a particular capital purchase that we identified.
All right. Because it was 0 and 17.
All right, that was a different one, okay.
Yeah.
When Peter comes back, he can ask.
Yeah.
He can ask.
Got it.
Page 76, solid waste, 4431.
So we're reducing staff by one FTE in this department. Everything's pretty much static.
That's the truck driver, laborer.
Yeah.
Tipping fees are stable, it looks like?
Yeah, tipping fees went up, they had the cost of living, but they went up the same with, one of the things we're looking to do is to go out to bid for our transfer station in the next month and a half. We think we can get some better value. The environment has changed substantially, and our contract has expired, so we're month to month right now.
Or we have options of
Yes.
locations?
Yeah.
So good.
We're also, we're gonna be negotiating with our recycling vendor. The commodities market with recycling has changed tremendously over in China. So anyone that's read it, single stream isn't what it's made out to be, but commingling and, polluting a lot of the single streams that are submission. So we see that it's gonna be a challenge.
Anybody further, solid waste operations?
Nope.
not 44, 101, page 44, excuse me, 4426 wastewater, page 101.
Ta-da. 4117 seasonal temporary. Oh, that was your request, okay. You're not getting it. Sorry.
It's always good to have seasonal temporary, you never know when something pops up, you can hire them for 4 months, it works out pretty well, on any of the divisions that we have.
Yeah. Well, we got some of that extra. Peter will find it for you.
Just for Scott, who's a new board member, the wastewater budget is not part of the regular taxes, there's a separate sewer user fee, so the revenue from wastewater does not affect the mill rate, it affects the sewer user fee.
It's a nice little line in tax.
Hey, Peter,
Yeah.
2017-18 at 1.3 is 77,195. The projected for the year is 100. Isn't it default to the 77 at least?
You're on page 97?
101,
Oh, no.
yeah. Account 4117, seasonal temporary.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
If you look at 2017-18 at 1.318,
Yeah,
you have 77,195.
yes.
Then you have 2017-18 projected is 100.
Oh, right, yeah.
Shouldn't it at least default to the 77?
We
Or
had,
more?
Yeah, we have that.
we had just hired, when we printed this budget, we had just hired, as Chris said, a wastewater superintendent.
Yeah.
He was with us for approximately a month, a little over a month, and then he got hired back to the community he was at because they offered him another substantial amount of money above and beyond.
Yeah.
So that's why it went from the $50,000 to $100,000. We had a seasonal temporary class 4 wastewater superintendent, which we have since reverted to again. So maybe Peter will have some recommendations. The hope is to again hire another full-time superintendent, but Peter may have some recommendations that we may not be able to do that by July 1st. The goal is that we should be able to. We're getting it put out again. We still have some position or some folks that were initially interviewed when we went through the initial process of hiring a superintendent.
So for that month or how long he was with us, he was in that temporary account.
Correct. The 77,195 is the correct figure because we transferred from regular wages to this line item to fund the seasonal temp, the retired superintendent to fill in. But you're correct. I do understand it. That could be, sometimes we had a general rule, only project what the adopted budget was, which was $100.
Okay.
But then I understand there's nuances where, yeah, you make a budget transfer and you may want to project the actual amount. So it could go either way.
Okay.
Dump truck,
That's it.
dump truck,
Dump truck.
4971 on page 104.
So we try to replace equipment. That's one.
Capital outlay,
So one of the reasons why this department has more equipment in any given year than the rest of the city is because we have a vehicle replacement fund or vehicle acquisition program that we do for the rest of the city that comes out of the savings at the end of the year. It comes out of our reserve amount. Every once in a while there's a piece of equipment or a vehicle in the actual operational budget, but probably about 15, 20 years ago, we started the vehicle acquisition program, which replaced the rolling stock program. And at the end of the year, as long as we have a flush year, and in July or June of that given year, we look at the capital needs for vehicles and equipment and make that allocation transfer. That's been the practice for the last maybe 15 years. as I mentioned, wastewater is separate and distinct from the rest of the city budget. We don't take money out of the general fund for wastewater usually because they have their own reserve. They're funded and paid for by the sewer user fee. That's why they generally will have more equipment in their operational budget than the rest of the city departments.
I think we should drop, oh, wait a minute, well, let's cut down so I can get my speed down.
We're going to have it.
Why?
Okay. Big ass.
Why? I accept it.
Where?
No more.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, we done with you? No, sir.
I think so. Sewer Commission, page 100, it's just administrative
Oh, yeah.
services. That's the allocation for the clerk that we
Yes.
talked about earlier. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. Take care, Tom.
Okay,
There we go.
4825 Bethel Center.
92.
All right, thanks for your patience. Scheduling. You thought you drew the lucky straw to be first. Hope we didn't ruin your dinner plans.
Not at all, and you talk these big numbers and you look like nothing.
Just by way of announcement, this is a bittersweet moment because this will be Tony Dolan's likely last budget meeting with us. She has put in her notice that she's going to be retiring after many years of good service to the city and to the Bethel. So thank you, Tony, for all your work.
Thanks, kid.
Thank you, thank you.
Don't like that.
You don't like that? Well, you know.
I like the ones we know.
Yeah.
What you know is better than what you don't know.
Well, there comes a time.
Yeah, it
There
sure
comes a
does.
time.
You're
I
gonna regret
appreciate
it.
that, and I
You're gonna
certainly,
regret it.
and yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Having said that, I just want to say thank you to all of you because you've been a wonderful support to the Bethel Center for the whole 11 years I've been there.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's been a
super.
wonderful partnership and I appreciate it. Want to introduce, brought the troops tonight.
Yeah.
Two board members, Shailene Landsberg, who is
Hi.
our new secretary, and Shauna, I can't pronounce your last name, so please. Onukua. It's spelled, it looks better, you know, it looks more complicated than it is. Who's relatively new, what, a year now? And Jen Paradis, who is our shelter program director. So
Welcome,
she does all the heavy lifting in the shelter, so. Kind of sounds like the same thing I said last year. We've already faced the 5% cut in our DEMIS budget, so that's reflected in our budget that you have in the packet.
Who do we do?
DEMIS, which is Department of Mental Health and Addiction
Oh.
Services.
Oh, yeah.
We had that cut, so that's a reduction already recognized. We have been told to expect a cut this year in the Department of Housing contract. We have gotten official word on that, but the expectation is everything is pretty much on the table this year, and we escaped last year, thankfully, without one, so I guess we can't hope for too much. We did not ask for more money this year from the city. We feel like, you know, we're asking for a reasonable amount of money given what we do. The question for us is really, you know, how much longer can we provide the services we're providing when we're, you know, the contracts are this way and our expenses are going this way, but, you know, we do the best we can in terms of fundraising, and these two ladies here have a heavy lifting job when it comes to running our two of our events that we do every year, and we're hoping to, we've moved our venue this year, one of our events, so that we're hoping to expand and be able to raise more money because it's a larger venue. So we do what we can. You know, the city's grant represents 12% of our whole budget. The biggest ones obviously are the government contracts and the Veterans Administration, DEMIS and DOH, and down from there. We don't really know what to expect with United Way of Milford this year. I'm going to them next week for their their grant, and we'll see where that goes. So we have not increased shelter staff. We moved some positions around in order to be able to hire a part-time program assistant, so we reduced our administrative assistant to a program assistant position, and we're able to move somebody in without any increase in cost, but it did reflect in the fact that in December, months of November, December, we moved 17 people into housing, and that's really credit to Jen and her staff. It's a remarkable amount of people to move in 2 months. I did want to point something out just quickly, because I find this to be an amazing statistic, and we didn't come up with it, thankfully. But the Department of Housing got together with the Melville Charitable Trust, and they developed what they call SWAP, a system-wide analytic and projection tool. And we feed data into 2 types of systems: the HIC, which is the Housing Inventory Count, and HMIS, which is Homeless Management Information Systems. And again, Jen and her staff of 2.5 do this on a daily basis. And so this is kind of unofficial, but I thought it was interesting. It says, you know, basically due to our healthy length of stay numbers, which means the amount of time people stay with us, and high utilization rate, which is what they consider the use of the beds, Bethel is second in the region for average cost per household, which is cost effectiveness essentially. We're $3,087, while the average is $9,610. So I think that speaks a lot to the fact that we are as efficient with our dollars as we can be, and watch our expenses very closely. The thing that's been killing us in the last couple of years, of course, is the no free shelter, because the state is no longer giving any money for that, but they're still requiring us to be open 24/7 when the weather's threatening. So, that's essentially another cut, because we used to get a little bit, not a lot, and we rely on some CDBG money for that, but we've absorbed about half of that cost as well. So, basically we're status quo, actually. We're, as I said, status quo in terms of what we're asking, but in terms of our expenses, it's a juggling act.
Now, when you started off, what was the one that was going down? Which area?
The Department of Med is DMHAS.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And that is dealing with the addictions?
Well, what that pays for is that supportive housing across the street from us.
Yeah.
That we don't own.
Right.
We provide the case manager over there, and that strictly pays for her salary. To the point now where it no longer pays a portion of mine, it does not pay any administration. Every time we get a cut, we have to cut from our budget. And it really doesn't any longer pay for her salary. I mean, it's gotten, she's been there, well, that position.
Does she live in that place?
No,
No,
she's
okay.
there,
She's
you
there.
know, every day, but not 24/7 essentially.
Under these proposed programs that Trump is talking about with opioid and even the state and everybody else, that wouldn't come into that area?
No, not in our case.
Right.
Where that would,
Mental
where that
health.
would come in with is through our Department of Housing contract. We're supposed to be managing people who have substance abuse.
Oh, that's right.
We do have people who have
Right.
substance abuse, and we do
Right.
manage them, but we don't get paid specifically out of DEMIS for those people.
No, okay.
The VA does, though.
Yeah.
VA does.
And mental health? Group? They got,
Bridges, yeah.
Anything further? Kind of a income loss of about 22,000. Is this consistently, this being my first time looking at that? Is that something that's been going on for a couple of years now, or?
No, that's probably the biggest deficit we've projected in the last couple of years. It's usually around 13, 11, 12, 13 a year, but I've raised a couple of these line items this year because, for example, staff development, we're required to do more training, so we had to raise that. But that was the other area was I asked for an increase in the line item. So the one thing is that we do have some grant money that can mitigate that, but it's very restricted grant money. It can only be used for certain things, so you can't really just say, take it off the bottom line, you know?
That's what that note's referencing?
Yeah, yeah. It's specific to program more resident expenses than anything.
How do you make up a deficit?
Raise more money. Raise more money. There's no magic to it. You know, when we develop our budget, we look at the expenses last year,
Right.
see if we need to increase any of them, which we
No, I
did.
see that.
And then
Deficit.
try to match it with magical numbers. We're hoping, you know, that these things come through, and there's a lot of grant writing.
Okay.
You know, I do a lot of grant writing,
Mm.
so. And generosity of the city and the individuals that support us in the faith communities, you know,
Mm.
if it wasn't for them,
Yeah,
I'd have
big
trouble.
trouble, yeah.
But we're a lot better than we used to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you all for your hard work and.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good luck, Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Thank you, well, I hope so.
I think there'll be positions open for you, though, if you want to come back on.
Really? Make
And
me an
jump
offer.
us. No.
Make me an offer. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 4159 Veterans Ceremony Parade Commission, page 89.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Just fine. Yeah, Veterans Square.
Oh, no, we were, no,
Yeah, Veterans Square.
no,
No, this is
What's this
different.
one?
This is different. What county?
4159.
Veterans Ceremony, please.
Oh.
4159.
Oh, I picked up the wrong.
Page 33.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't depend on me
No,
anymore.
not depending on
Here we go.
You're in trouble.
If there's anything you'd like to present, you're welcome to, otherwise I'll.
We'll just have the budget for our $50 per meeting, one meeting per month, secretarial fees, office supplies, stationery things, and other supplies, virtually all flags will be placed on the graves of our veterans in the 3 cemeteries in the city, plus on plant flags at all of the city monuments twice a year. So, and those, well, last time I bought flags, there was about 36 gross a year, at 79.95 gross. Those people are not better, we're okay.
Good show.
The question is, how many flags do we gross?
Something 44.
144.
I've flung 4.
Yes, that's correct.
I have no idea. I would have-
Did you know? Did you know?
In your calculator.
All right, any questions other than the math question?
No, don't come up with math. I'm in trouble. Stop doing math.
All right. You have anything else tonight? All right, well, thank you for your coming out
Thank you very
tonight.
much.
For
Thanks
all
for
your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. 4112, elections.
14.
14. Good evening. That's okay.
How are you?
Go ahead.
Good.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
You too?
I bet.
All right, so Well,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do city clerk, 4129.
We're moving on to city
22.
clerk, and then we'll go back
Page
to-
22.
Doing my-
Clerk first,
That is
again.
city clerk.
We'll go back to elections.
Yeah, we'll do elections and register. Okay, city clerk, page 22.
I know there's no vacant positions here.
That's a fraud, it may be.
What?
There may be,
No way.
we may be facing retirement.
Boy, that $150 overtime will come over what is that?
We only use that if we need someone the night of election.
Yeah. I have nothing in that area.
Any questions from the board?
No, I don't have any.
No, no.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll go back to elections, 4112, page 11. Oh, absolutely, Kristen.
Just make, we
Yeah.
did get our security cameras
Yes?
in the office, we're finalizing that, so thank you very much. I invite you all to stop by our office and see what we did in the city clerk's office, the tax office, and the assessor's office. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you, Mayor.
Where do the security cameras go? Just
There is
in the vault and
in the vault, in my office, in the tax assessor's office, in the tax office,
Oh.
and in the hallways, outside probate.
Oh. Who monitors those?
They are put on tapes too for 3
Yeah,
days.
yeah, oh, yeah, right.
We all
That's
feel
great.
better because they're there.
Huh?
We all feel better because they're there, especially when DMV was there.
Mm,
Yeah. That's good, I'm glad they're in.
yeah, thank you.
Feel safer for sure.
And then page 14, elections.
Okay. What is increasing in this area? What, is this for the machines or what?
No, it goes based on, do you mind?
No.
Based on what election is coming up. And because we have a gubernatorial election this year, we anticipate heavy primary turnout. And so that is the reason for the increase. You'll notice from year to year, we go down, we go up, depending on what year we're in.
So you're projecting primaries for both parties?
Yes.
Second off.
There's only about 40 people left.
Exactly.
I'm putting my name.
41.
And, you know, just like we did with the presidential, I think there's going to be a high turnout in Connecticut, in Milford, for these primaries because of the state of the state is in.
Yeah, the disgust of the state. Disgust of the state.
Okay, well, hopefully that'll be enough to get things done. Anything further on elections?
Nope. No election.
Register of voters, 4115, page 15. If you'd like to say anything, you're welcome to,
We'll
otherwise.
just introduce ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
We
absolutely.
have a few, new guy here.
Yes.
I'm Deborah Fellenbaum, the Republican Registrar of Voters, and Carrie Rowland is in a winning competition tonight with one of her teams, so she could not be here. She's a coach, and
Against
So-
West Haven.
yes, so you know, I'm hoping she's winning right now, but she asked Bev Meltzer to come, who also is a big asset in our office as far as the budget, keeping us on target, making sure that we're within our bounds. So, if you have any questions, we're here to answer.
Well, thank you both for coming out.
Yeah, just, you weren't around for 16, 17. You were?
I've been here since 2014.
Oh, God! Back in 16, 17, we're going for overtime at 27.32, then we're all the way up to 4,000 now.
This is
That's
their-
it, yeah.
The
are you talking about the overtime for
Overtime.
112?
4112,
Yes.
okay. I was wondering, I can't recall why that jumped up from 2,700 up to 4,000.
The 4,000 is what's been asked for many years.
I think a part of it is that there's new state requirements that the Secretary of State's office put on specifically for training about 2 years ago.
That's it.
There's additional licenses that our two registrars have to maintain. And it requires a lot of outside training and classes and things of that nature.
That's when you said that. The other one was the voter canvas. What it actually is that?
I'm so happy you asked.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
We are right in the middle of it now, and it's when we get changes of addresses from the national change of addresses through the post office. What's the number? Bev is actually in charge of that for our department?
Well, what the canvas does is we get once a year in January from the National Change of Address Association, people that moved within town and people that moved out of town. And it's upwards of 1,200 names of people combined. And we have to send them a letter that is state statute driven. It has to be sent a certain way in certain envelopes with return envelopes. And the questions are, do you still live there? Have you moved? Any changes in the form? I unfortunately didn't bring a form. So we mail those. They have 30 days to respond. And when they respond, then we have to go back in, and if they left Milford, we take them off the system. If they just moved within, we make sure we have the proper address. In addition to, now that's an annual, that's done every year. In addition to that, there now is a new statute that people that have registered and never voted, people that have not voted in the last 2 federal elections can also be canvassed. And that also comes from an association with those names. I did 400 this year. We got about
We had 4,000.
4,000 to go.
Yeah.
So it helps clean up the file too.
And then it takes time. It's not just,
It's a long time.
it's a very long process, because when those people, if they don't respond,
Right.
then we can make them inactive. And they stay inactive for 4 years, and then they can be removed.
Is that legal?
Yeah, that
That's
is,
by
that is the
state
way
statute.
that
I
we
thought that
clean
was
up
in
our
the upper
files.
courts.
No, what happens is they go inactive, and the reason they're inactive for 4 years is within that 4 years, if they come in to vote,
Right.
we can restore them.
And
Right on the
we can't
spot.
determine if
On
they're
the
in
spot.
Milford in
Yeah,
4
you
years. It's
cannot take them off. You can't
So what's
remove
the
them.
purpose of even taking them off?
Pardon me?
What's the purpose of even taking them off?
After 4 years, you can.
After 4
They
years.
might be dead, they might be felons, they
Yeah,
might be.
but if they come in the 6th year, what happens?
They re-register.
They have to re-register.
Re-register, or not on the spot?
Well, they can do this, the same day registration if it's.
If they
But
come
they
in
have
to
prove-
vote,
But they have to prove the residency, all of it.
Right.
right, then they just show their license, right? That seems like an awful lot of waste of money and time.
State statute.
Yeah, I mean,
You can do it online.
If, it wouldn't be an issue if they told us what they're doing, but if they don't tell us.
Exactly.
none of your business.
Well, they move out of town, and they can
Yeah.
only have one voting record.
Yeah.
So if we don't clean up our files, they can vote here, they can go to West Haven.
Right,
they
you
can
have
go
to
to
do
another
that, I
city,
understand
right?
that.
You can go to another city and
Yes.
register there, and another
Yes.
city, then another
Yes.
city.
It's our way of
Okay.
keeping it honest, too.
But that's also changed, because now they have what's called ERIC, which is
Electronic
an electronic.
cross-state.
Cross-state, so that if you do go to Florida and register, Florida tells us right away.
Oh, they do.
And that comes once a year
It
also.
depends who you know in Florida. All
right, on that note.
Okay, very good. Sorry, I don't want to go any further.
All right,
I mean, too much on this.
if there's nothing further on register of voters, thank you all for coming out.
Yeah, we're all set, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Take care.
MGAT.
Let's see.
Yes.
Hello?
Well,
How are you?
usually you come in, but they're like,
Yeah,
before you.
I'm well.
So 16?
Yeah, 16.
So again, this year, MDI has requested an increase, a relatively small increase, and that's really the intention behind that is to really, to put us in a more sustainable position. We have not been able to meet our expenses through the city side of the budget. We've been funding it through grant funding, which was, the purpose of the grant was intended to help municipalities to upgrade their equipment year after year. For many years, MDOT was using this funding to meet its operating expenses. And so we were failing to upgrade equipment. In the last year, thanks to additional support we received from the city and additional grant funding, we've been able to upgrade both of our studios in the last year. We still have some additional work to do, but this is actually going to help us keep our costs lower, and meaning that instead of 11 or 12 hours of production time, we can minimize that to 7 or 8, maybe 6, depending upon how long meetings go. But it's really important. We compete for grant funding with 3 other municipalities, Fairfield, Orange, and Woodbridge. Both of those, all of those municipalities fund their government access channels at a much higher level in a way that enables them to meet their operating expenses. Woodbridge was at $24,000 last year. Fairfield was at $57,000. Just so you know, Woodbridge, that's just for government. That does not even cover their education channel. Fairfield was $57,000. Orange was $72,000. So
Orange is 72?
To fund their government access television.
What are they showing on it?
Yeah, they cover a lot more community events. That's something we would love to be able to do. We covered the inauguration for the first time this year.
Draw pool, the oxen pool.
But just so you know that
They got a lot of stuff up in
when I
Orange.
apply for grant funding, I compete against these other municipalities, and it does work in our favor when the grantor sees that, look, Milford is at least covering operating expenses. And that's really just my goal right now, is to put us in a position where we are covering our labor costs, we're covering our internet fees, and that we can actually use this grant funding money for what it's intended to. And the grantors actually rewards us for that, because they don't want to fund labor costs. So this is, I think this is, it's just a very important move to put us in a more sustainable position, more realistic position for operating government access.
And you put this on cable,
Yes, not only that,
YouTube?
yes, so
Yeah.
this, I don't know if you're, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, but what we've done in City Hall is very exciting. We're actually now live streaming from City Hall. So even if you do not have, and this is what excites me because we really want this to be accessible. So even if you don't have a television, even if you don't have cable through Frontier or Cablevision, you can, through your phone or through your computer, subscribe to us on YouTube. And you know, everybody's cutting the cable now, so it's more important for us to have this as part of our suite of distribution. YouTube Live. It's available now at City Hall. It's not currently available at the Board of Ed, but we hope to at some point.
I believe the Board of Finance public hearing was the first time that MGAT live streamed anything to the YouTube channel directly. So
Yeah, we
What Board of Ed one?
no,
No,
the public hearing.
from City
Public
Hall.
hearing.
All that big hearing.
We did that for a little. Yeah,
That was a great big hearing.
I know. That we tested it that night. I think the real fun was on the Board of Aldermen, the next meeting of the Board of Aldermen, because we were able to live stream it on YouTube, and then I was so excited I shared it on Facebook, and so
Yeah.
so I think we had 127 views of that meeting on YouTube live, and so. It's just one of the reasons why it is so important to have that grant money available so that we can get MGAT into the 21st century. We're not all the way there. We still have some things on our wish list for next year. We need better remote cameras so that when we come here to the Board of Finance, we have better equipment. When we can go to Parsons and we.
That does beautiful work.
Yeah.
I like myself on YouTube.
In that. right now, we do have limited options, so
Yeah.
we do need to expand a little bit next year. But this puts us in a much better position, a more sustainable
Okay.
position.
Great, any questions?
Thank you. No, I'm all set with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, take care.
Boys and Girls Club. 4826.
92, I believe. I can't read my writing.
Thank you for waiting.
Ah,
Are the minutes of today on our channel?
I'm 92.
You can, welcome to present, I'm sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No problem. Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Altamari. I'm the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club. I've been with the organization for 7 years now, which is crazy.
Great.
And most of you do know what the Boys and Girls Club does, so I won't go over that again. But I just want to point out some really exciting statistics that we have today. So the package just has a lot of our background, our program lists, things like that. But one of the things I really wanted to point out today is that last year we saw 36% growth in our membership. So we served 515 kids last year, which is up from the 378 the year before. Currently, we're at 465, and we are still counting numbers all the way till June. So we are anticipating that we will hit about 600 kids this year. So I have fulfilled in one building. We went to 2 buildings, and I'm almost filled in 2 buildings. So we are really excited with our growth and being able to serve so many kids. If you flip 2 pages further, just go over some of our expenses and our financials. 2017, it looks like we had a great year, and we did. Every year is a great year. We're always going out and finding new funding sources and ways to expand our program. We can't serve more kids without more money, so we try to get creative each and every year. One of the reasons we had such a surplus last year was because we were awarded a grant in June, so it has to go into our books on June, but we didn't incur the expense until this year, July, our fiscal year this year. So it looks like we had a surplus this year, but we had to spend the money on capital improvements, which we were able to do, and got a new phone system and PA system, which we were really excited about. So the club is growing. We keep growing. We are offering transportation now from 4 schools. We're serving kids from 9 different schools in the community. We have a full summer camp. We opened summer camp registration the 2nd week in January, and I am 3/4 of the way filled. It's February. So one thing I can tell is there's a need for our program. We're having a lot of fun. We're changing a lot of kids' lives, and I have the best job in the world.
What is that? What is that program?
The summer camp program?
No, the other one. You just, someone paid,
I think I just said summer camp. Our summer camp is almost filled. Our after-school program.
after school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you. You guys have certainly taken off in the last several years.
Yeah.
Very
Sure
successful.
has.
Any questions?
What were you gonna do? You asked for 100. The mayor cut you back to 70, which is what you got last year. What were you gonna do with the other 30?
Serve more kids. So we've consistently gotten
But can you
$70,000.
get more kids? I mean,
Yes, so we're anticipating that we're gonna serve up to 600 kids this year. We're currently at 465. And that's up 75 kids over what we served last year, or 85 kids over what we served last year. So for every 10 kids I hire, that's what I have at the club. I have to hire another staff member. Another staff member is about $15,000 a year. So,
that's a part-time position.
per time, yeah.
Well, it's really grown.
Oh, I see, okay.
Why do you think it dipped from 515 to 465?
Because this isn't for the full year yet, so
Oh.
this is just year to date,
Oh, okay.
and this is just to today, actually. So I'm anticipating by the end of June, we'll be serving 600 kids this year, which would be up 85 kids over last year.
Okay.
You get anything from me another way?
We do.
You do?
So we've consistently received $70,000 from facilities. The day we served 30 kids, now we're serving over 500. That's why we asked for the increase that we could. We're trying really hard to figure out ways to fund the program and expand, but there's always limitations. We were just caught by the state.
You have fundraisers, right?
Oh, we have fundraisers. We have an adult dodgeball tournament coming up. I'm on TV. March 23rd, adult dodgeball tournament. You win a championship belt. Really fun. We have our gala coming up April 26th, which we're really excited about. That's at Casa Zera. We have Pumpkins on the Pier, which is the huge pumpkin festival that we have. We have the golf tournament with Montano family. We have ShopRite month coming up in March, so stop by ShopRite in the month of March. What else do we have? We have a 5K in August. We run fundraisers.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do kids board it, boys and girls? Do kids stay overnight?
No. So we are strictly an after-school program. We're open every single day after school, and we charge $200 for the entire year. So they can come every single day for $200. And we scholarship about 26% of the kids that come.
With the funds you raise?
We'll never turn a child away for an inability to pay. We will make them pay something because it has to be valued, but $50, something, $1, whatever it is.
Excellent, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, terrific, thank you.
Thank you.
Great
Nice
job.
to see all of you.
Great job.
Health Department, 4610.
79.
Welcome.
How are you?
So you're welcome to make a statement, or we can just pepper you with questions. Whatever your preference is.
So I always like to use this as an opportunity to talk a little bit about what our department does and share all the different aspects of people's lives that we touch. So what I've handed out today is a snapshot of our major divisions within the department. On the first page, you'll see our community health division. And really that area focuses on communicable disease surveillance, so right now all the cases of the flu that are going around. I also included, the health department is in the process of trying to apply for national accreditation. This is something that's going on nationwide, and the state of Connecticut is really pushing for local health departments to apply for accreditation, which is essentially like the good housekeeping seal of approval for a health department. There are a lot of steps involved in this process, and we outlined them. We've basically finished the first two steps, and 2017, due to some of the staff vacancies, we weren't really able to progress in this area, but we're now working on starting a strategic plan for the department with the goal of applying for accreditation potentially in the summer of 2019. We also have several grants within the department which are predominantly programmatic in nature. So I've given you a snapshot of that as well. And then in the middle, when you open up the little template, this is really our environmental health division, which covers the areas of food protection, housing code enforcement, light enforcement, environmental hazards, public beaches, beach sampling, septic, lodging, schools, daycare centers. So we included some of our numbers of what we do for food protection. We issued last fiscal year 719 licenses. For food service, that includes annual licenses as well as temporary events. We currently have 394 food service establishments licensed with an annual license. We also do foodborne illness investigations and outbreak investigations, which our sanitarians and our community health division take part in as well. And then there's just an overview of the numbers again.
We only have 19 hotel licenses, or what is it?
Yes.
That we have.
17. And then on the back is a snapshot of our school health and public health nursing division. So you'll see, our school nurses are still very much needed within the community. We had 46,500 health office visits last fiscal year, with over 15,000 medications and treatments administered in our schools. So over 37% of Milford students have some sort of health condition that requires management by the school nurse. So we continue to see a strong need for nursing services within the school setting in order to allow children to be able to learn in a healthy and safe environment.
The low number of flu shots, isn't that a low number?
You will see that next year when I come here, that number is going to rise significantly. We typically do around that number, around between 800 and 900 shots per year. This year, it has increased based on what's happening with the flu. Just in our last 2 clinics that we've had, we've done close to 400 just in 2 clinics. So that number will go up next year. So, do you have any questions?
The flyer.
No, I think that was very thorough, thank you.
Yeah.
Very much. Are you also handling education health? Sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay. 4998.
Just for a second, Brian, on the
Yes.
health department under the computer, are you still getting a computer for 2017-18 and getting another one for 18-19?
Yes.
So you're getting 2 computers?
Yeah, we try to replace at least one a year as they start to go.
All positions filled?
No, we currently have 1 vacancy remaining.
I'm sorry?
We have 1 vacancy, a sanitarian position, that is
Sanitarian.
currently vacant.
The back of your brochure, at the bottom is OSHA.
Mm.
Do you do that training for companies?
No, so
just-
actually for the city, we are responsible for the annual bloodborne pathogen training for city employees.
Oh,
So,
city employees.
and we manage the exposure protocol for the city. If there's an exposure from fire, police, public works, recreation, the nurses were responsible for that.
Oh, okay.
If you have any other questions, you can jump in, otherwise we'll move on to page 95, 4998, Education Health Services.
Okay, are these computers in this group in the same building as your other one?
No.
So where are these
This is
located?
for the school nurses who are located in all of the schools throughout the community.
So we have 14 schools, each one have a computer?
So, yes, each of the nurses has a computer because the records of the students are electronic.
It's also the private schools as well, like St.
Correct.
Mary's.
Yeah.
And it's also, some schools, like the high schools, have more than 1 school nurse. I don't know if they have more than 1 school nurse.
They usually have a clerk computer and a clinic computer, so the high schools do 2. And some of these computers are as old as 2006.
Ancient, yeah.
So,
Don't be funny.
well,
Then how about position school nurses, are you all filled there?
they are currently all filled.
All filled, great.
All right, there's nothing further. I think health services,
91,
page 91, 4821, and it's a grant.
That's me as well.
Yes. Is that a grant for a particular purpose?
So this is for the well child exams for families that can't afford to get their annual physical for their children. It used to be a service provided by the Visiting Nurses Association, and it's now supplemented.
who does this?
Dr. Carlson, who's the school medical advisor.
And where would they do that?
He actually does it at his office, at his private office.
Okay. Okay.
That's it for you tonight?
No.
Oh, you want to? Last one. Well, we're gonna skip to wherever, what's,
Human Services?
oh, you were doing health and, okay.
I realized that was under your review. 4817, Milford HSD Agency. Page 90.
There you go.
So, the Department of Human Services was consolidated with the Health Department a year ago, so this is kind of the first year's data. So the department continues to be busy on the human services side. You'll see for outreach, we had 263 cases that were comprised of 683 residents in the city needing some level of outreach, whether that was utility assistance, utility counseling, rent mortgage assistance, emergency food referrals. On the pie chart that you see there, it looks at financial assistance provided, so we often try to cost share with other community-based agencies, including the United Way Salvation Army and St. Mary's Church, to be able to provide assistance to families in town. This year, if you look at the second page, it provides a snapshot of our budget and grant sources. So this past year, one of my tasks was to try to increase the grant revenue coming into the agency. So we were able to increase the grant funding by 97%. Again, we were starting with a small pot, but slowly but surely we're increasing the grant funding that's coming into the agency, which is allowing us to be able to provide more assistance to our residents. And we continue to do energy assistance and rent rebate at the agency as well as the holiday programs, the adopted family program, holiday meals, and most of those programs are all in partnership with various community agencies. And then on the youth and family services side, we continue to do individual, family, and group therapy services. We're in 4 of the Milford Public Schools, running 10 therapy groups on site at the elementary schools. And we continue to run programs through that area as well.
You're busy.
Yeah, we are.
How many people are involved in doing this work? I don't see any, yeah.
At Human Services?
Yeah.
It is
I don't see a payroll or...
four full-time, 2 outreach workers, a program coordinator, a clinical coordinator, and a secretary, and myself.
What do you do in the public schools?
In the school system, we run therapy groups. So particularly at 4 elementary schools, we have therapy groups where our therapists meet with groups of children who might have either anxiety or school stress, depression, and they meet with them on a weekly basis. We also have a satellite program that runs on site at Jonathan Law, where we have a therapist who's there. And the therapists are all, majority are interns that we work with, and they provide services on site at Law once a week.
What do we have in the school budget for this? We have psychologists, we have behaviorists. What else do we have in the school budget? 67 teachers that are in special eds. The what? Paraprofessionals that deal with this.
This is another gradation of training and expertise, and then even above and beyond what Human Services does, we have Bridges. So we have a lot of different areas of expertise, based on the different diagnoses.
Well, you know what I'm getting at, Ed. If we have money in the school budget that really we maybe don't have to provide. If we have Bridges, we have this Human Services program. I forget how many psychologists and behaviorists and,
And all these groups and organizations and teams, they do work collectively together. It is one holistic effort. It's not, disparate groups. It is the whole community, various organizations within the community working together. There's a lot of needs out there, though. Even one individual may get touched by each of these organizations that we just talked about, or individuals that we talked about, based on that individual's needs.
And actually, what you'll see, if you look at the page with the blue, to speak to that, though we did 179 intakes, only 82 of those were taken into our agency. The balance of that may have been referred to Bridges as a more appropriate case for Bridges, or it might have been gone to the school social worker if it was something that was more appropriate for them. So typically in our intake process, we're evaluating what the best fit might be, or if they're potentially receiving services.
how are they referred to you, first of all?
They come to us either often through the school system. Sometimes the social workers are actually referring them to us because they need a higher level of service than they can receive during the school day. And then they come through other community agencies who refer people over to us as well.
In the schools, you do it in four schools and one high school. There's nobody doing it in the other schools.
We have offered the services to the other schools, but these are the schools that have opted in.
Oh, okay, so you've offered it to the other schools. Okay.
Why wouldn't they join in?
Yeah.
Sometimes if there isn't the need for extra intervention during the school day for these groups, and this is primarily, again, the groups. For the satellite program, like the one that we have at Law, we were looking to do something similar at Thorin, but it hasn't really come to fruition yet. But we're looking to be able to provide that same level of service there as well.
Who's determining whether these schools will take the program or not to take the program?
Put it
The
out to
principal or the?
So you offered it?
We put it out to the building administrators, to the principals, as well as to the social workers. At the beginning of the year, we go to every school and meet with all of the principals and the social workers to talk about the services that we have to offer and offer an opportunity to come in.
Which does not mean that clients from foreign don't utilize our services. It just means they don't have a satellite office set up on site. It means that they come, students from foreign will come and visit them at the Gold Street address.
Okay, so, and the kids from the other grammar school can be taken to your offices?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, but you've offered this to all the schools? Okay.
We got 14 schools, right?
Right.
There's only 4? Something's wrong.
For elementary schools are utilizing the group service.
Right.
So we have 12 elementary, is that what
Yeah, I'm just surprised.
Yeah, I'm
I'm surprised that they, they don't all take advantage of it, Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Appreciate it.
Board of Aldermen, page 14, 4111.
Cut.
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to entertain that. As you see, it's a level budget from the previous year.
Yeah.
The biggest expense is secretarial fees, similar to your board.
Speaking of which, 41401, Board of Finance.
26.
Secretarial fees.
What does she do? What does she do? Oh, you eat, okay.
That's salary, okay.
Okay.
Flood and Erosion Control Board, 3146.
30.
Chairman, I'm happy to answer any questions. Steve Johnson also attends some of the meetings, he can answer some of them. But they're a very active board. They are, right now, their biggest responsibility is managing 10 different CDBG projects, that monies that we received from the Department from HUD after Storm Sandy. Steve is actually helping us track those projects and manage those projects on the administrative side, but this is the board that works with the different engineers and consulting firms that have been selected. They've actually gone through and done the selection process for the 10 projects. There's actually really only 9 projects because one of them was a generator. But the other 9 projects are very, very involved, millions of dollars, and they're hopefully going to be done within the next couple of years. So a lot of our coastal areas that got damaged or in some way destroyed after Hurricane Irene and Hurricane Sandy, or Storm Irene and Storm Sandy, that coastal area will be built up again, stronger than ever. We'll have a hardened infrastructure along some of our beaches and areas that got walloped back 5 years ago, and hopefully we will be more prepared than ever.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, Tree Commission, 4147.
Same page, right?
Yes. What? 4156, Conservation Commission. Correct. Welcome.
Hello there. So, a couple of years ago, Steve Johnson, the liaison to conservation, we made a recommendation which has worked out extremely well, since we're basically taking care of our own minutes. We reallocated the secretarial administrative fees for education, so we've been using that. It fluctuates a little bit. Last year, I think we used about 70% of it, and this year we probably, although we have to keep on top of our commissioners to expense the courses they go through, we probably are tracking about $500 so far, and we've got some additional courses that are coming up. We got 2 new commissioners appointed, so I'm sure they'll hopefully take advantage of some of the workshops and things that are available. It's also becoming more and more important with some of the community projects that the city is obligated to work on, for volunteers, for a variety of different projects that go into these reports that benefit the city from a standpoint of public outreach and helping to make our environment healthier and a great place to live. So I'm going to answer any questions.
I'm not sure if there's anything on Conservation Commission, but we could also do 4162 open space.
So,
34.
yeah, I can give you just the position with the open space continues to evolve in some different interesting ways, and I've been advocating to continue to build with connections to the community. Been working with the schools, with the head of science curriculum development, Justine Wasala. This last year I've been working on doing some special programs that I've done with the enrichment program at the elementary level, middle school level, pilot science program, doing a pilot enrichment program across all the elementary schools for a recycling project, and then some advanced placement environmental science classes at Jonathan Law. And then as well as working with a number of volunteers, we've had some businesses step forward, donating materials and workers to do some projects. We did a pollinator garden up at Bodie's place in Eisenhower Park. We did a special garden out here with Girl Scouts outside Parsons, and continue, try to make those connections and just get the community involved. So, also working at the mayor's request on working to develop a team of people for the Sustainable Connecticut initiatives that the city's embraced. And I think that's going to be a really positive way to connect people to the city and the good things going on, both from volunteers, but also internally with staff as well. So, and I try to also supplement working across different departments. I've been working on the community rating system committee, the hazard mitigation plan rating, hazard mitigation plan program, and also assisting Chris Staley in the acting assistant public works director position. So, kind of blending gray infrastructure and green infrastructure.
You were doing a lot of the grant area before you came on into full position here.
Correct.
Are we still doing
Yep.
much grants? Are we getting much grants? Or what?
Right now, I'm working on trying to complete those grants we've got, in addition to a lot of the, as Mayor Blake just mentioned, the grant administration on the CDBG DR projects, those 9 projects.
Oh, yeah, right.
Are extensive. The reporting, the updates, both with the engineering firms, but also with the Flood and Erosion Control Board. I've been the primary liaison to the Flood and Erosion Control Board meetings. So it's very
Other great for the projects as well, like the Beaverbrook Boardwalk still is almost there.
We've got to tweak the design a little bit to meet the funding criteria that we've got to deal with that environment, but yeah.
All right, thank you. Alderman Cruden?
Terrific.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your work.
Bridges, 4813.
Page 8-9.
8-9.
Hello.
By way of announcement, again, another bittersweet moment after years with Bridges and several years with, as the director, Barbara is going on to the good life.
Yes, yes.
So this may be her last budget hearing with this board.
It will be.
So we wish her well.
Yes, good luck.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. My end date is June 30th.
So
I'd like to introduce Carlos Rodriguez. He's Bridges Fiscal Director, and I brought with me our annual report, what we call our Community Impact Report, and there's some statistics in there. I'm sure you're all familiar with what Bridges does, so I wanted to highlight what we have been paying much more attention to in 2017 and moving forward. The opioid epidemic, and we have had several community forums in some of the communities that we serve to educate not only providers but family members and people that are actually using. And we've also, effective July 1st of this fiscal year, we began offering medication-assisted treatment, which involves essentially being able to provide ambulatory detox for people that are addicted to heroin. So that has, while we did get a little bit of money in 2016 from the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Service to sort of, begin that process, we have unfunded spent dollars on hiring staff, particularly medical assistants, to do some of the monitoring that's required to offer this ambulatory detox. So just as an example, when we start someone on some of the new medications, they have to come in every day for a while, and we have to take their vitals and, and really monitor them closely, and to make sure that they're, they're not going to require hospitalization. So some of the new medications are safe and allow us to do that, but they still require that people be monitored regularly, not only from the mental health perspective, but from the physical health perspective. So, and then we're also focused on another epidemic, which is the rising suicide rates in youth and young adults. And we're happy to have several programs, outreach and engagement programs for youth and young adults that help us to identify in sort of natural settings, those who may be at risk for suicide. So one venue is our young adult drop-in center, which is here in Milford. And that's been a real success in terms of, the usage, how many youth and young adults are just dropping in. Some of them are just simply looking for jobs or looking for a place to live. But, through engagement and building trust, we're able to identify, those that are really either using drugs or, who need mental health treatment but are not getting it. And that was the whole purpose of Room 4. Our Young Parents Program, which is something that came under our umbrella almost 2 years ago. The Young Parents Program of Milford, we're still identifying young teens that are pregnant and need parenting education, but we're also identifying more kids who are really in need of, education, health education regarding sexual health and sexual safety. And we're working with several of the Milford schools, co-facilitating health classes, and we have a clinician who's embedded in several of the schools certain days of the week that's providing those services. So we're doing more outreach in that program as well.
Did Milford Hospital help in that originally with that, with the mothers?
Well, I think they were, the program and some of the staff were, were sort of based there. They were using the space. I don't believe they were getting funding from Milford Hospital.
Yeah, they receive in-house donations
Right.
of location and overhead
Yeah.
and things like that from Milford Hospital, but Bridges took them over, or it's now located at Bridges about two years ago?
Right, about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And so, but that too, while we have 2 staff in that program, and the teens, and we work with both male and female, are able to come to Bridges. We're finding that we do more of our work in the community and in the homes, which is really the, kind of the intent of the program. Most of them, most of the clients don't really want to come to a mental health agency. We also are able to, in that program though, to identify those young people that are in need of mental health services, and we can easily get them into our program. So, and then finally, we're doing more suicide awareness education in the communities, and we're for instance, this May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, where we're going to be scheduling several forums, one in Milford that's open to teachers and providers and students and parents to really, educate people about that, the signs and the and how to respond. And that fits in nicely with our, we're one of the few providers in the area that that offers mental health first aid training, MHFA, which is an evidence-based model that works with lay persons to, just teach them the basics about what to do if, for instance, someone says, I'm depressed, or, I'm thinking of hurting myself. So we offer several of those trainings a year. We've done them in the Milford schools as well. We've done them with some police departments. So that's been our focus this year, in addition to everything that we've done. And on the financial horizon, and Carlos is available to answer any questions. As you can see from our budget, and as Tony Dolan was saying, a big portion of our funding comes from the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, and we had a 5% cut in our budget. And so, that impact really, that's significant for us, and we had some layoffs and just, had to really downsize some of our services.
Well, thank you for the presentation, Mr.
Okay. I noticed that, you serve a lot of communities, but I only see 2 communities contributing to you, Orange and Milford.
Right.
Do the other communities contribute anything?
We get a small amount from the city of West Haven.
Okay, because I see West Haven on here, yeah.
We do elderly case management
Okay.
in West Haven, and we have been getting a small grant from them every year
Okay.
for a number of years.
But nowhere close to Milford.
Oh, no, no.
Okay.
No, but the majority of people we serve, so for instance, in 2017, we served about 9,100 people, and approximately 52% of those people are Milford residents
Okay.
that we serve.
So do the valley towns, I see them on here, in Sonia, Bethany, Derby, Seymour, Shelton, and Woodbridge, do they contribute to you guys?
No, they don't. And our funding, it's a kind of an unusual situation with the way that the towns and the municipalities are broken up. But because there's another large agency on the adult side, BH Care, that serves all the valley, Demas provides them with the funding to see adults. Our programs that we offer in the valley, which are I think 5 towns, are funded by the Department of Children and Families, and those are just our child programs.
So you get contributions from DCYS?
DCF, yes.
DCF?
Yeah, no, they fund.
For the valley towns?
For the valley towns, just for children.
Just for children?
Just for children.
And then
yeah.
from West Haven, you get a small contribution because of the elderly?
We do elderly case management in West Haven.
Elderly case management in West Haven, so you do get something from them?
Yes, we do. And then we
Okay.
get, for decades, we also get a grant from Orange.
Okay, Orange, do they get the same services Milford does?
Yes, they do.
How much do they give you?
I think it's
Our
probably
current contract is $90,000.
$90,000.
$90,000?
Yes, and it's worked so that it's offset with the permanent service fee, so every month we bill them monthly. And basically whatever we get in permanent service fee is offset by that.
What is it offset by?
By the permanent service fee, it's anything that is billable that we can get reimbursed for.
Okay.
We pretty much, it's offset by
You
that.
get the 90,000 from Orange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
With this Parkland business,
The
you
what?
see,
I'm sorry.
with the Parkland shooting down in Florida,
Uh-huh.
they're talking about mental health now, both in the federal, how about the state level? Are they reassessing what they're gonna do?
There's gonna be mandates.
Huh?
There's not gonna be any money, there's gonna be more mandates.
Yeah, from the, yeah, but
Yeah, there won't be any money. And the talk about mental health is just really to avoid the
they're
money
going to
issue.
the wall. We'll find
Yeah,
out.
smoke screen, yeah.
They just got another guy today.
And I think that, I think most people know that, that the rate of violence, gun violence in our country, a very small percentage of that comes from people who have mental health or addiction problems. Now, often though, these mass shootings, which receive a lot of attention, which are a small number make up a small number of the violence in our country. Obviously some of those people have mental health issues, but overall, people with mental illness do not have a higher rate of violence than the general population.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of statistics about that, and they're methodologically sound statistics.
In Chicago.
All
520.
right, thank you for your
Hey, Chief, thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much,
you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate
Okay.
it. Have a good
Take
evening.
care, and good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Best of luck. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to go.
Veterans Grave Preservation Commission,
89.
4815.
89.
Wow.
I wish there was a way we could get you,
I know.
squeeze you in somewhere,
I
but
know. It's all different this year. I've been here 40 years
Yeah.
doing it. And this year, it's totally different groups
different people.
presenting and, different people.
Yeah, a lot of new faces.
Yes, you're
except on this board, it's the same old, well, we got one.
Well, that's not.
Scott and I were together this morning at Rotary. Of course,
Thanks for
Joe,
clarifying.
I'm all over the place.
yeah, I went to Costco, he had lunch with me.
Yep.
I know the mayor, of course.
Will you guys just walk around getting the free samples for lunch?
I do, I go on senior day. It's good.
It's hors d'oeuvre day. Hors d'oeuvre day.
Anyway, I have a few pictures that just want to give you a picture of what we do in our commission. First is the Revolutionary War section in Milford Cemetery. Milford Cemetery is the oldest active cemetery in the nation, which is amazing. So meaning active, there are burials ongoing, and it's the oldest on top of it. So this is, and I wanted to thank Chris Saley because he's very helpful to us in providing a electrician and a pole truck to go up and put the solar lights.
That's really, yeah, really great.
As you go by the cemetery at night, look in, you'll see the flagpoles are lit. Every 3 years we put fresh lights and everything. So that's part of what we do.
I walk through that cemetery every weekend, I walk through it, it's beautiful.
So you're
Who you
familiar.
visiting?
Kings Highway Cemetery has a veteran circle. And in the middle, there are all new plantings and flowers, which we'll do in May. We do that. I use, I believe, landscaping out of West Haven. And the main flagpole, again, has solar lights on it. A couple of years ago, we did a major project with the Revolutionary War monument in Milford Cemetery. We put a brand new walkway around it. It's handicap accessible, so you can pull a car up and bring a wheelchair. And we did that. Again, I really did that. The Masons did it. They did an awesome job. And then this is the Revolutionary War monument with the walkway, the plantings. In May, we have all fresh plantings. You notice the wreaths. The wreaths are placed during Memorial Day and 4th of July by the veteran groups in Milford. So these are some of the major things that we do. The commission, before I go away for the summer, I get fresh flags for each cemetery. So they fly one and they have a backup. If the lights are needed, I go through the cemeteries at night. I'm a little nervous because police are in there. In fact, the other day I came by Kings Highway and I saw the police car coming out and I was like, so I'm driving around in Milford Cemetery in the dark and the police, they see me and I have to explain who I am, blah, blah, blah. But I'm checking the flagpoles to make sure they're lit. And if they aren't, then I coordinate with Chris to give me we order him in the part, he comes in and they have their electrician put him in, so on.
If the police don't know who you are by now, they really ought to talk to the chief.
I know, but, they're in there for a good reason,
Yeah.
For vandalism and so on, homeless people and so on. So we replaced the solar lights. We had a drainage problem a few years ago where it affected the Memorial Veterans Circle on Kings Highway, so that the graves were impaired by the water. So I worked with Jimmy Beard, who was the president of the board of Kings Highway, to rectify that. And then we put all new plantings, and we put flowers. And if you go by the cemetery and look in, you'll see a V of bright colored flowers, and that represents Veterans Circle. So these are all the things that we do ongoing. Also, a couple of years ago, one of the governor above the ground burial vaults was vandalized. And I got a call from someone who I guess went through the cemetery and he was very vigilant. And he wrote a letter to the cemetery and they brought it to my attention. So I brought a monument company in from Monroe and they cleaned it. It was all painted and vandalized. So now it's okay. So we our committee kind of oversees all the veteran graves and try to do the best we can to keep it. You know, like I had a funeral a couple of years ago, and the family looked up at the flag, and it was tattered, and it was all like pink. And it brought to my attention. I went in and, you know, had it immediately replaced. So I'm very vigilant about having the flags new, get back up, including St. Mary's Cemetery, because that's the veteran pole put up by our committee many years ago. So that's kind of what we do. And the only income we have is what your committee provides for us every year. And so it's maybe $1,000 a year as far as flowers, because we put spring flowers, and then in the fall, we put fall flowers, you know, the yellows and whites and so on. So everything always looks nice. And I get pictures when they plant them. They send me pictures so I can see what they've done. They're very good.
Beautiful. Lucky.
And unless you have any questions, I think that's it.
Looking good. Looks great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your hard work. Any questions?
No.
No?
I didn't realize how many years I did it. And I was in Milford Cemetery looking with Ray Scholl and Sexton. And there's a brand new portion of the Revolutionary War monument, and it had our committee name, Thomas J. Cook Jr. in 1976. I was like shocked. I've been on the
Get out.
40 years or whatever. And then the cemetery flagpole had 1987, Thomas Cody by the You don't even think about
It
it.
seems like yesterday, probably.
Well, today at Rotary, Paul Oxel was saying so-and-so is the, you know, oldest Rotarian. I go, Oxel, I am. Oh, I forgot Cody. You know, blah, blah, blah. It was fun. All right.
Hey,
that's it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
It was
I'll
great.
see you in
See you in Costco.
Yeah.
I'm due.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Take care. What do we got?
Okay.
Historic.
Milford, 4818, these will take 2 seconds, 4818.
Yeah, 90, 92, 91.
These are just secretarial fees,
Right.
so those are 4820 and 4818 and 4820. Any questions on those two?
No.
4822 Cemetery Association, I think we got that covered. That's page 91.
Who's that under?
Cemetery Association?
Yeah.
Usually Jim Beard, who's the head of the association.
Oh, that's right.
Usually makes a presentation. But that's for the maintenance, and they usually team up with the veterans.
Yeah.
Veterans graves.
Well, these veterans get taken care of.
Absolutely.
Do. All right. Speaking of getting taken care of.
Take care of me. Who's
See
here?
our esteemed Recreation Commission Director,
82.
4620 Recreation Department.
Oh, yeah, remember that.
Anything you'd like to say on the renewal?
Here to answer anything you guys may have a question on, but always appreciative of the support the board has given me over the years, and look forward to continuing getting.
One of the things you may notice is that under seasonal temporary, that account is rising a little bit, and that's to reflect the increase in the minimum wage. 99% of the people that work under the seasonal temporary account are at the minimum wage. Our camp counselors, lifeguards, folks like that. So that minimum wage is a big impact on that particular line item.
Is an auditorium for lifeguards also the seasonal temporary, or?
Yeah, so we use that to pay for the lifeguards in the pool.
How many do we have during the summer, Paul, roughly?
How many employees do we have?
Yeah, during the
About
summer.
225,
In the summertime, yeah. Wow.
you know, for the 6-week period,
Right.
July 1st to usually the middle of August. And we spend about 63% of that seasonal temporary money in that 6-week period.
Mhm. You in charge of the parking lot? Collected the fees at the parking lot?
So my department is the one who has the privilege of collecting those fees.
Yeah.
Yes,
But the money
but
goes
the
to
money
the
goes to
general
general
fund.
fund.
Where does that show up in the budget? Miscellaneous revenue?
The general, under general fund.
General fund revenue?
It's called funny money.
No funny money in this budget.
So the fees are collected for parking,
Good, yeah.
but if somebody parks on the street like at Walnut Beach, they can just walk into the beach.
They can just walk it, correct? That'd be subject to the
The police.
on-street parking regulations,
Yeah.
of which
Yeah.
they've been modified down there to be timed parking.
This last summer, each weekend, we had an average of about 100 tickets given out at Walnut Beach each weekend.
I've seen them. Cheaper to pay the $5.
But actually, it's $15 now. The fee we went up about 2 years ago to $15.
Okay.
In anticipation of Silver Sand State Park at the time, talking about making their improvements, and then by state regulations, they would have to charge a fee, which would have been $19 per car. So we went to 15 to try to get ahead of it. The recently passed state budget now includes a provision where if you have a Connecticut registration on your vehicle, you get into all state parks for free.
Oh,
Of course, they've added $10 a year biannual motor vehicle registration. So there will not be that fee to go into Silver Sand State Park.
Good.
How do we compare, like, to, I know Fairfield, ridiculous.
So Fairfield, like on the weekends, is $50.
$50, yeah.
Stratford, I think, is 20. They just increased it last summer, but they were
20 or 25, I believe. West Haven is 20 or 25. West Haven has meters too now.
Oh, that's right.
They pay per space
Yeah.
on the beaches, which is something that we've discussed going to, especially because of, it's not that many people carry cash with them anymore. It'd be good maybe to get some meters on the street as well.
I think we need more patrolling though at Milford Gulf Beach.
Well, it's a separate
We
issue.
definitely need more patrol in Gulf Beach. We'd be making more money in the parking lot. It really is. I don't know how many times I've gone there during the summertime.
Well, I think the fee's appropriate. We want to encourage people to use our Walnut Beach businesses and downtown businesses.
I think we tickets right at the wall in Gulf Beach. No sticky ticky. We're gonna put a sign up there, no sticky, no ticky, like that.
All right, any more questions?
That's it for me.
Anything further?
That,
Thank you, Paul.
that's it. Thanks, Paul. What do
We
you
have
got?
the Commission 2, Parks and Recreation Commission, page
Supervisor down at
31.
West Shore, or is that the Boys and Girls Club?
So the West Shore Recreation Center is a City of Milford building that is a license agreement the Boys and Girls Club
Okay.
uses it. They're there usually after school till 5:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we get the gymnasium from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. and they keep their program in the community room at the West Shore Recreation Center. We do hire a seasonal person to supervise our activities when we're in the building.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Take care of my buddy.
The page
Win game.
4153 is this Parks Beach Recreation Commission, it's secretarial fees. Questions? All right.
Right, thank you.
Take care. All right.
Well,
We gotta do something here, Ryan, about this.
I hope you got the dock in the water today.
Today?
Well, it's 70
It wasn't
degrees out.
it wasn't today.
108.
Well, thank you for your patience. Sorry to keep you waiting so long.
To just be getting going by now.
I know,
This is-
right?
I appreciate this.
Oh, that's
By
true,
this
yeah,
early.
yeah, that's true.
The tradition is whoever is the last to have their ups usually gets the easiest questions.
Yeah, that's, well, I think we're always pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what, before you even start,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I can't tell you how many times I get customers, especially from across the Sound, Huntington Bay, Northport, and they tell me, I wish our city would do something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, the sport, the harbor, not just the river landing, but the boat ramp, Gulf Beach, all the beaches are really
availability of
supported well
restaurants is
by-
the big thing.
by the city, the Board of Aldermen,
Yeah.
Board of Finance. You know, doesn't happen everywhere.
They
A
don't
lot
have
of people
good-
notice
Yeah,
what gets done in Milford.
and you know why? Because they can get a good ice cream.
Well,
But kid, you go over to PJ? Forget it. You get their dried up fried
there's
clams.
better food here in Milford,
Oh, absolutely,
by
absolutely.
far.
Yep.
By far.
I went over there twice with my boat and I said, never again.
Mm.
Not worth the effort. You like
Only,
that?
only getting better.
Milford's always getting better.
That's right.
Where do we cut the budget?
That's a good new slogan, Mr. Mayor.
I like it.
Yeah?
Get better.
Getting better.
Getting better. Something like that, that's good.
How's that? That work we get.
The only thing I have is Marina Feast, I think that was the only thing I had. Projected a lower amount, 10,000 less. Do you have,
That usually means we're doing better, right, Peter? If we're able to lower that number.
Revenue number?
the money?
And under revenue,
Page 108.
if we can bring that number down, those kind of the catch-all for even revenue and
The expenses?
and the expenses.
Oh, okay.
So actually, if that's a little bit lower number,
Right,
that reflects
the balance.
balances out our expenses.
What are the concessions?
We get fees from Scooby-Doo's, the rent,
Oh,
Gulf
okay.
Beach.
What's the term of those leases? Are those coming up, Scooby-Doo?
There is, I forget the terms, I can find it out for you, but there is an annual renewal for X amount of years.
There is, yeah.
I forget how many year renewal they have within the original contract, but I can find that out for you.
Good contract, though.
You get paid, huh? You earned it.
Well,
You earned it.
there's no benefits involved there either, so I'm a bargain, I think.
Yeah,
Because,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah, you really do.
No doubt about it.
I enjoy
You do a
it.
great
I
job.
enjoy it.
I know you do.
Well, hopefully we'll have a nice, warm, dry summer.
You got it.
How
No
many dogs do
storms.
we have down there?
Pardon?
How many dogs are there available for?
Including the commercial, the 4, now 5 commercial slips, there's 40 on this side, and then we can put 2 or 3 boats across the way with power and water. Then there's 130 mooring spots out in the harbor. I may want to mention the grant that we got for the new docks. Yeah. Through the SHIP program, Small Harbors Improvement Program, through the new state Port Authority, they reached out for projects that were, would produce some revenue for towns. With the help of the Julie Nash, sort of official office, Community Development. With her help and Bruce Corella Sr. couldn't have gotten it done without his help because he knows the business. We put in a grant proposal to redeck the marina and the floats. The marina's 20 plus years old. The floats, some of them are 12 years old. And it was accepted. So we've got close to $400,000
Wow.
to redeck the marina, and we're going to use a Brazilian hardwood called iPay.
Yeah, I heard of it, yeah. Takes care of my harbor.
Milford Yacht Club used it. I was out in Greenport last summer, They have, I think they're the only other municipal marina, and their docks and a lot of their walkways were done in that. And I thought it was new. I talked to somebody, and it was over 15 years old. It looked sharp.
Yeah.
So, nice improvement, and it's something that, you know what, we couldn't afford without help.
No, right.
So, we've got the help, and we're
All the
gonna-
floats are gonna be there?
we hope so, yeah. The bid package was just finalized last week. We gotta get that out. I had to get it approved by the state. That came back with their approval, so now we need to get that out. I've been away for a couple of days, or it would have been probably out by now, but we'll look into that tomorrow.
What was the activity on the floats this year?
We had a couple vacancies.
Just a couple,
Maybe 6 to 8.
Oh, that's not bad.
Some years we've sold out.
Yeah.
The years of the waiting list appear, you know, they're long gone. But we're pretty close to.
It's a cycle.
It is.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
But it's still an economic, it's a good option for people.
Oh, yeah.
Who can't put a boat, you know, the marinas are probably 4 or 5 times as much.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a nice option.
It's terrific. If you're healthy and young, they can roll.
Yes.
True.
All set.
All right.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No.
All right, well, motion to recess. So moved. Moved, made and seconded by the, Joe.
I have an extra one.
Or Fred.
Any discussion on the motion? If not, we're recessed until
What'd you have
Monday?
of this year?
Monday the 26th.
Monday.
We followed up on this and I'm not gonna be here at the next meeting, so you're gonna have to let Peter.
Which one?
26.
Why?
He's got
You've got to give an excuse. Make it up.
a good excuse, his family. His family's
I
father
should
for a
know.
week.